Hi again. So a while ago I posted a video about how I wanted to start a series of videos helping people who may have gone through abuse in their life, whether it's earlier on or present. And I shared some of my experiences, and today I want to talk specifically about some of the symptoms I've had from mine, so that if you have the same exact things, then you're not crazy and you don't need to be scared of them, but you need to address them. So what we do is when we feel like we can't control things or we don't know how to process things, we end up having weird behaviors. That are seemingly involuntary. So for instance, some of the issues you may struggle with, there's like an eating disorder. This is something personal to me. And I have had one since I was about 10, because my abuse was very early on. And they diagnosed me with like EDNOS, which is apparently like all the eating disorders in one. So you may like not eat one day or a few days, and then like the next day like eat like a football playing man, and then later on you can get really, really stressed out and then like throw up. It's very unhealthy, but it's there. Another issue is, sorry, I'm looking at some notes, is you may have issues like trusting people and trusting the wrong people because you have very poor boundaries. Boundaries are really hard things with victims of abuse, and because you just don't know who to trust exactly. And another issue that follows the boundary thing is that you may be attracted to people who aren't good for you, and you just find yourself in very unhealthy relationships because you feel like you deserve the abuse, or it's normal, or whatever it may be. Another issue you may face is your view on physical contact may be very skewed. Like you may be overly promiscuous to make yourself feel like you have some control over your own body. Or you can go the complete opposite way, and you may feel very uneasy about physical touch, and you may feel bad about yourself if you let somebody touch you. Like I've had problems with physical touch, and I'll get kind of panicky or angry. Over time I had developed kind of a phobia of those things, and I was just very wary of any sort of touch because I didn't feel in control. Another issue you could have is like just basic PTSD things. Like you can have, like personally, I feel really overprotective of little kids because I feel like they're so vulnerable, and I have kind of a jerk reaction to just like make sure they're okay because I want to make sure they weren't in the same situation I was as a kid. I just want to like protect them from those things and keep them from bad situations because they seem so vulnerable. And I couldn't stomach the same thing happening to them. Another thing that you could have is like flashbacks. You could have flashbacks from your PTSD, and like you can remember things, you can block things out, and then you can completely remember things that happened to you, like block like years out of your life of events that have happened to you because your mind couldn't process it, or you just couldn't emotionally take it, and then it comes back. It's kind of nutty, but it happens. It truly does. And you seem really overwhelmed when those things do happen. And another issue you can have is like you can be very hostile toward like a certain gender, and you can develop some really bad, bitter habits because of this. Obviously, like if a man abused you, you can think all men are bad, or women at the same time, and you could just kind of get like sexually really like confused and kind of twisted, and just not healthy if your abuse was in a sexual nature or of a sexual nature. And you could also become bitter toward people that kind of exploited you in those situations, just specific people in your life, or chose to be a bystander and didn't help you. And those things aren't super healthy. And this just isn't an exhaustive list, but some of the things you may be able to see in yourself that are behaviors or beliefs that should be addressed. These aren't things that you should have in your life. And I don't want you to feel crazy that you have them. It's a result of something that was done to you. And these problems need to be not something that define you, and it can get better. And I want everyone to know that I didn't come from some weird shady background. I had two parents that loved me, an older brother who wanted to protect me, but I have all these weird issues because something was secretly going on in the background. So don't think you're completely exempt from it because you aren't from a bad place. It happens to everyone. So my second video, I'm going to talk about how you can kind of tackle these things without feeling so overwhelmed. So God bless you guys, and I will see you in my next video. And thank you for watching.